Amazon ads have a new beta program and it is called Cost Control. This new beta is specifically meant for sponsored display and sponsored brand campaigns. But what really is Cost Control and how is it going to affect how you do advertising moving forward? Well, first and foremost, I don't think it's really going to change that many things and likely isn't going to be as big of an impactor as many people might think it might be. First and foremost, Cost Control sponsored ads. So, Amazon released this a little while back. They have it in a beta program. It's not available for every single seller, but you might have it on your sponsored brands or sponsored display right now. So, what exactly is cost controls and how does it actually work on the advertising? Well, by Amazon's own metric, they say that the benefits of using cost control is ease of campaign management, auto optimized, maximizing for scale, and finally, continuous optimization. Now, the big thing to note here is that essentially the way cost control works is that they are specifically going to have whatever you place as your bid and always do that bid or lower for best optimization. It's very similar in essence to an auto campaign where Amazon will choose all of the keyword targets for you, but instead it's on the actual bidding side of things. So, how does this actually affect where you're going to be doing your advertising? So, again, coming over to our actual campaign builder, you can see the cost control beta. So, they have a few different things here where they say we'll set your bid and targets while campaign is running to try and stay at or below metric value you specify. So, this would be the value that you're specifying, and it's saying it can take 72 hours to achieve the desired result. Now, we've done some testing with some cost control campaigns already to see if this is something that's really useful, and so far it's a little lackluster in my opinion. Primarily being that you're not able to actually change anything yourself. It's all going to be Amazon, right? So it's all determined specifically based on what you actually put in the value for the cost per click. Now, you can always try and go really high with it, but then you're going to risk having the campaign actually be extremely expensive, right? And you're going to end up having Amazon just trying to always be at the top. So, one thing I'm always seeing and looking at when it comes to Amazon ads is that it always seems like it's really expensive anytime Amazon wants to do something, right? They want you to spend more money. So, a situation like cost control, I don't think it has that much value or merit. It is something that definitely is worth a test to see if we can get some optimizations going. But so far, from everything that I have tested with it and the team has tested with it, there's nothing that I can see here that is really going to provide a ton of value that regular just bid optimization on a campaign would. The cool part, however, here is that once you create a campaign with cost control, you can actually turn cost control off after the fact. So even if you create one just to test it out, you can always end up turning it off and then going back to manual optimization. So that is one of the benefits of it, but the way that they have this set up to work is not something that I'm going to see long term use for. I think it would be interesting to see where cost control will put a floor at for you. So if you, for instance, want to try and create a campaign that is specifically around like driving page visits, right, for your actual brand store, and that's something you can definitely do. And if you don't want to be spending more than $1, try it out. But you will very quickly see that you're more than likely going to be spending more on this, even if you have a lower cost per click metric that you normally would have. But your Amazon in of itself is always going to try and go towards the top, right? They're going to try and spend more. They are going to try and make the campaign do more. Reality here being is that I don't think it's going to be useful long term. Again, short term testing to see if you can really get a floor or a just basic level and understanding of where you should be at based on just its own AI algorithm of how this works. I think that's definitely a thing. If you are someone who doesn't have the time or doesn't really understand doing regular bid optimizations for advertising, I think this definitely could be something very useful for you just because it eliminates an extra layer of, that checking ads that you normally wouldn't understand or wouldn't be able to do. So from that aspect, for new sellers on the platform and for people who don't understand advertising on the platform, I think this is great. But any other circumstance whatsoever for it, I think you're going to be seeing that it's a little bit more lackluster than Amazon makes it out to be, especially when it comes to things of, actual auto optimizations and continuous improvements. I just don't think that's going to be the case long term for it, but I guess we'll see. This is really cool, though, from the aspect of seeing Amazon release some more beta features into advertising. I'm really excited to see if they will add something like this over to sponsor product ads, as well as this is only for sponsored brand and sponsored display at the moment. So if we could get something like this in sponsored product, I would be really interested in testing it. But for the time being, again, I think this is going to be one of those test it out once or twice on a few campaigns, see if it's working, get some data from it, and then go back to your own regular optimizations.